In this episode of the Daily Meditation, we are going to take a guided tour through traditional meditation techniques. You'll learn everything from Anapanasati to self-inquiry to Zhaozhang and more. So to begin with, let's assume a good posture with our necks slightly lowered. Now, for the sake of this recording, I might have my eyes open from time to time, but if you're doing this at home, just keep your eyes closed, unless otherwise instructed. So to begin, we just want to observe the breath moving through the body. The most basic meditation technique. And this is simply mindful breathing. And while we're doing this, we're promoting the parasympathetic nervous system to create relaxation. Now from here you will start to feel a sense of inner peace. When you begin to feel peaceful inside, simply observe the feeling of peacefulness while continuing to meditate on your breath. This is Anapanasati, one of the best meditation techniques for relaxation. Now from Anapanasati, we can move into other meditation techniques, namely Vipassana and Samatha. At the moment we are focusing on the breath, and there are two ways that you can focus on the breath. You can focus on the breath in a more intellectual way, in the sense that you're aware of the process of breathing in and breathing out. When we do this, this is called Buddhist Samatha, and it's very closely related to what yogis call dharana. Now, as well as focusing on the breath in an intellectual way, we can also focus on the breath as a sensory experience. For instance, you can focus on what the breath feels like in the body in the present moment. And when you meditate in this way, when you are meditating on sensory experience, this is called Buddhist Vipassana. Now, as you focus on your breath, you might begin to notice thoughts and feelings. In Vipassana, we simply observe these thoughts and feelings coming and going, and we label them for what they are. For instance, we might say, this is just a mental image, or this is a feeling in my body, and this reduces our reactivity to thoughts and feelings. While you are focusing on your breath, you might experience moments of oneness, as though your mind and your breath are one. This is called dhyana in yoga, that sense of oneness between the mind and the object on which we are meditating. If you experience continued dhyana, then this is called samyana, which in yoga is the most advanced type of meditation. It's a moment of complete oneness between the mind and the object on which we are meditating. Now, so far, we have just been meditating on the breath. However, we can progress further by introducing a mantra. A mantra is simply a word, sound, or phrase that we repeat to ourselves while meditating on the sound. The most basic mantra is the Buddhist mantra Om, which is spelt O-M but pronounced Om. So to do mantra meditation, we simply recite the mantra, Om, or another mantra. Now there are various different types of mantra meditation. For instance, in Hinduism, it is traditional to use mantras that show honor to the gods. For instance, Om Namah Shivaya, to show homage to Lord Shiva. In Buddhism, most mantras involve reciting aspects of Buddha's teaching. Buddha's teaching is called the Dharma. For instance, probably the most famous Buddhist mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum, which means the jewel is in the lotus. And you can interpret that to mean enlightenment is found in the Dharma, or the teachings of Buddha. And so, to recite a mantra, we simply make the sound Om while meditating, focusing the mind on the sound of the mantra. Now we can take this even further by turning the mantra into something musical, and this is commonly done in Kundalini Yoga. So, for instance, in Kundalini Yoga, there is a type of meditation called Kirtan Kriya meditation, which is basically singing while meditating on the song. So, for instance, Satanama So Se So Hung. Try singing that out loud and meditating on the sound. Satanama Sa Se So Hung. That is Kirtan Kriya meditation, and is one of the best types of meditation for pure joy and happiness. Now, not only can we use mantras by reciting them and by singing them, we can also internalize a mantra. And this is done in Nada Yoga. So in Nada Yoga, there are 4 stages of mantras. At the first stage, we are repeating the mantra out loud to ourselves. So I'll continue with the example of Om. We begin with the mantra loud, Om, and then quiet, Om. And then we hear the mantra in the mind, and the mantra begins to repeat itself to us without us having to consciously create it. And then finally we achieve oneness with the mantra. And this is what is done in Nada Yoga. You might have heard of some other mantra meditation techniques, for instance, transcendental meditation, where you're given a specific mantra and you recite the mantra however you wish to while meditating on the sound of the mantra. So far, we have looked at mindful breathing and various types of mindful breathing, and we've looked at mantra meditation. Now we can move into a completely different type of meditation. These meditations are what I like to refer to as character building meditations. They're meditations that create certain states of mind, for instance, compassion, love, and other positive qualities. Now, you've probably heard of the most famous one of these types of meditation, which is called metta bhavana, or loving kindness. Now, bhavana means cultivating, and that's precisely what we do in these types of meditation. We meditate in a certain way that we cultivate or grow certain states of mind. So, for instance, in loving kindness or metta bhavana, we sit with our eyes closed, and then we bring a specific person to mind, and do this now as I lead you through it. Bring a certain person to mind, and now imagine that person smiling at you. See, I'm just thinking of my mother right now, smiling at me. And indeed in Buddhism it is traditional to begin with the mother. And so we're imagining this person smiling at us. And now we're going to recite the mantra, may this person have happiness, love, and inner peace, and may this person be free from suffering, and may they have the inner strength to overcome any obstacles in their life. Now, when we do this meditation, metta bhavana or loving kindness, we are cultivating benevolence. That is, the ability to feel joyful for other people's happiness. Very, very similar to loving kindness or metta bhavana is karuna, which is compassion meditation. So loving kindness is entirely about welcoming happiness in other people. Karuna or compassion is about recognizing the struggles and the suffering that people go through and wishing them freedom from that suffering. So to do karuna meditation, bring one person to mind, somebody you're close to, and now recognize the challenges, the struggles, or any problems that this person is facing. And now wish for them to be free from that suffering. Then, imagine that this person recognizes whatever you're suffering through or struggling with, and imagine them sending you compassion back. And so that is karuna. Now we can go even further with karuna and with compassion by practicing what is called Tongle meditation. So to do Tongle meditation, what you do, bring one person to mind, recognize the suffering and the struggles in their life. Now imagine, as you inhale, imagine inhaling all of their suffering. And now imagine exhaling onto them an energy of healing and of happiness. And so this creates the idea that we're taking up other people's suffering and giving them back love and healing. And that is Tongle meditation. So right now we're looking at character building meditations. And one of the most powerful character building meditations of all time is called Bhakti. Bhakti was a beautiful movement that stemmed out of yoga and Hinduism. In it, the Bhakti use song, poetry, and other forms of art to express their love and devotion to the gods and the deities. And so we come to Bhakti meditation. So with Bhakti meditation, and again you can do this now, just make sure your eyes are closed. Bring to mind your deity. Now, I'm one of those people that believes in freedom of belief. So it doesn't matter whom you believe in, whether it's God or Buddha or the numerous gods of Hinduism, or if you're not religious or spiritual, you can bring to mind somebody you find particularly inspiring, or you could even meditate on aspects of nature. Now, whatever it is, bring it to mind, meditate on it, and now imagine that this person or this element is entering you and you're becoming one with it. So that is Bhakti meditation. And that's used to absorb the positive qualities of whatever we are meditating on. So far, we've looked at mindful breathing and different types of that, including Anapanasati and Vipassana. We've looked at mantras in the Hindu sense, in the Buddhist sense, in the modern sense, and in the yogic sense. And we've looked at character building meditations. Now I'd like to move on to a very modern form of meditation, which is Jon Kabat-Zinn's body scan meditation. This is a very powerful meditation for helping with stress and anxiety. So to do this, all we do is focus on the body. Now we begin with focusing the mind on the crown, the very top of the head. And from there, we gradually progress down the body, observing any sensations that we notice. And should we come across a sensation of tension or physical discomfort, we just imagine breathing healing energy into that part of our body so that it relaxes. Now, this meditation would traditionally take approximately 20 minutes. But of course, in this episode of the Daily Meditation, we are going through all the traditional meditation techniques. Well, not quite all, but certainly very many of them. So up until now, we have been meditating with our eyes closed. And indeed, many people think that the eyes should always be closed when you meditate. However, that is not the case. For instance, Zen Buddhists meditate with their eyes partially open. And they do this because they believe that when we close the eyes completely, we enter a kind of internal world that makes it hard to focus. So open your eyes partially and now look at 45 degrees downward. So you're looking forward but also down. Then continue to focus on your breathing. This helps the mind to focus not just in the way of focusing on the breath, but because we are subject to external stimuli, because you can see things around yourself, you're also learning to not be distracted by whatever is around you. And so right now we are doing Zen meditation, specifically Zazen, and we're looking at a point 45 degrees downward, so forward but down. Now from here, I would just like you to raise your eyes and look straight forward at a point directly in front of you. Focusing on a point directly in front of you, keep your eyes still and meditate on that point. This is Trataka meditation, a yogic meditation, and it's one of the most powerful forms of meditation for concentration because neurological research shows that when the eyes are still, the mind is also still. And so that is Trataka. Now, up to now, we've been meditating just sitting down. And it's time, finally, to stand up. So, we're going to stand. And stand with good posture. And now meditate on your body and your breathing. You're focusing your mind on your body, but also your breath. And this is Taoist Zhaojing. Now from here, we can stand up fully and continue to meditate on the body and the breath. While standing, feel free to move your body or your arms in slow and calm ways while meditating on the movement of the body. And that is the principle of both Tai Chi and Qigong. Now, sadly, I don't have the space to do this right now, but you can then go into Zen walking. Simply begin to walk forward slowly while meditating on the feeling of movement in your legs. Walk forward slowly 10 paces. Turn and walk back the opposite way 10 paces while meditating on the sensation of movement in your legs. And so we have basic movement meditations. Now finally, there are two more types of meditation that I would like to mention. And those are self-inquiry and open meditation. So you might have noticed that to now, we've been focusing on one or two things in these meditations. However, there is also a meditation technique called open meditation. So this is a technique where instead of focusing on one thing, you allow the entirety of your surroundings to flow freely through your mind. And that is called open meditation, which is an incredibly powerful meditation technique for creativity. And now the final meditation that I would like to cover is called self-inquiry. So throughout this, we've been focusing. However, you might wonder what part of your mind is creating that focus. If you look within and you ask yourself, from where is my conscious awareness coming? Where am I conscious from? What is the point of origin from which my consciousness stems? If you look into that, you will notice that the absolute point of origin in your mind is complete emptiness and nothingness. And the final meditation I would like to mention is when you focus on that point of origin, that emptiness, that nothingness from which your consciousness arises, that is self-inquiry. And so that is my guided tour through quite a lot of different meditation techniques. My name is Paul Harrison. If you would like to book a meditation lesson with me, you may do so using the link below. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe. And until next time, stay sensational.